It's about keeping your employer brand relevant in times of transition and adapt to the communication style and content to make sure that it is relevant to your audience.
You mentioned the employee value proposition earlier. Can you elaborate? I mean, at KPMG, we produce a regular report, Customer Excellence, where we identify 6 pillars to the employee value proposition, employee experience. Can you elaborate in terms of what should be in that employee value proposition?
Sure. So I would say if we look at the recent pandemic and the changes we've been facing recently, there has been a total shift in how employee branding is perceived and designed. This year, I would say it has completely redefined the way we work, the way we socialize, or the way we engage with the community. And companies are realizing more and more that it is key to bring the customer brand and the employer brand together and converging them in a way to start delivering greater value. Obviously, there is lately a greater push for empathy, for transparency. Anka has mentioned authenticity in employer branding strategy that has played out in different ways. And while there is no playbook today to kind of define the best approach moving forward, there has been some trends recently that have changed the way employer branding is today being developed. And what I would like to do is maybe share 5 key points that I consider extremely important in developing employer branding. First and foremost, it's about keeping your employer brand relevant in times of transition and adapt to the communication style and content to make sure that it is relevant to your audience. So it's important to keep a pulse on employee on one hand and candidates on the other hand, the candidate sentiment, to make sure that the message is still relevant. My second, I would say, advice is around compassion. Compassion is king. And according to a recent LinkedIn Talent Solution study, they found that communicating empathy and authentically showcasing your company is a better long-term solution for growing loyal and lasting connections. So I've mentioned, the employer brand relevance. Compassion is something that is extremely important. I've also mentioned the fact, which is my third point, of the importance of bringing both the corporate and the employer brands together. I would say historically they've been developed in isolation, and today the glue between them is the purpose. So really understanding or defining your organization's purpose is the reason it exists. So maybe spending some time on this and understanding what this really is and communicating it and delivering on it effectively are the keys to building brand advocacy. My first point is around employees. Obviously, your employees are your fans, your best advocates. So do use them because they are at the heart and soul of the company, and they can also represent and showcase your company essence and your employee branding. And my final tip is around staying true to yourself and showing up in a consistent way, both internally and externally.